Welcome to Designed for the Creative Mind, a podcast for interior designers and creative entrepreneurs to run their business with purpose, efficiency, and passion. Because while every design is different, the process should remain the same. Prepare yourself for some good conversations with amazing guests, a dash of Jesus, and a touch of the woo-woo, and probably a swear word or two. If you're ready to stop trading your time for money and enjoy your interior design business, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Michelle Lynn. Hey there, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Michelle Lynn, and let's talk about the kind of inquiry that makes you want to throw your laptop around the room. Okay, you know the one that says, "Hi, how much do you charge?" No hello, no details, no context, just price. And I know that message can feel insulting because you're sitting there and you're thinking, are you serious right now? I'm not selling a pair of jeans. I'm not a contractor giving you a bid. This is not a drive-through situation. But here's what's important. If your leads are price shopping, it's not because your pricing is wrong. It's because your marketing is teaching them to treat you like a commodity. And I know that's annoying to hear. I get it. Because you're probably working your tail off. You're posting, you're sharing your work, you're showing the before and after, you're doing what everybody's told you to do. Probably I've told you to do it too. But if all someone sees is pretty rooms, then the only thing they know how to ask is, how much? How much does this cost? Because they don't actually understand what they're buying. So today we're going to talk about why this keeps happening, what you're accidentally doing to invite it, and how to shift your messaging so your next inquiry sounds more like, "Hi, we're renovating our home and we want someone to run the entire project. We've been following you for months." That's the goal, and that's what we're doing. So all right, let's start with the inquiry that makes every designer's blood pressure just like spike. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The message that comes through and it's just like, "Hey, how much do you charge?" Okay, there's no explanation. There's no reference to them having been following you for a little while. There's no project details. They're just straight to the price question, like you're selling something off of a shelf. And then you're just like, I am not a painter that's going to give you a bid. And I'm not a menu where you just pick a service and check out. Like there's no a la carte here. So if your leads are price shopping, it's usually because your marketing is teaching them to treat you like a commodity. So the issue is not that you're not visible, but somehow the people are showing up in your inbox still feel like they're shopping around for the cheapest option. So that is the issue, right? If all someone sees in your visibility efforts are pretty rooms, then all they want to know is how much that costs because they don't understand what they're buying. They don't understand what full service design is. They don't understand the layers of work that go into what we do. And they don't understand how much our value has, your value has nothing to do with picking a sofa. Like we're not sofa salesmen, okay? But in your marketing, they're not seeing the project management, the coordination, the planning, the procurement, the timelines, the vendor relationships, the problem solving. Like all the decisions that we're making behind the scenes so that we don't end up, or the clients don't end up with expensive regrets. So when you get that "how much do you charge" message, I know it's easy to assume that the person is cheap or that the market is saturated or nobody values designs anymore or you just need better clients. But honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, the bigger issue is usually that your marketing is unclear. It's not positioning you as the professional that you are. It's not educating the client on what your services actually include. So if you don't clearly communicate the difference between you and every other designer that they find online, the only thing that's comparable is price. Now, in my experience, price shoppers are not always bad leads, but they are always uneducated leads. They don't know what questions to ask, so they ask the easiest one. And they don't know how to evaluate design services, so they treat it like something that they can shop around for. I had a similar call, probably the third quarter of last year. It's kind of what brought this podcast topic up, okay? Because if your marketing doesn't guide them towards understanding your processes, your expertise, and the real value of what you do, then they're going to default to the one thing that feels concrete: cost. So that's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about why those leads keep showing up, what you're doing that might be unintentionally attracting them, and how to shift your messaging so that future inquiries that hit your inbox will sound like someone who already understands that they're hiring a professional. The goal is not for people to stop asking about price. The goal is for the right people to understand your value before they ever ask the question. So when your marketing sets you up for that, you stop getting the first question out the gate. How much do you charge? Okay. You're going to start getting more along the lines of, we're ready. We trust you. What's the next step? How do we do this? Okay. That's the shift we're aiming for. So let's talk about why people ask about price so fast. And personally, I know that it can feel like a slap in the face if they come out of the gate just asking. Okay. It's like, hi, I'm a professional. I'm not an Etsy listing. Hello, it's me. Okay. But the truth is that most people ask about price early for one reason. It's they don't understand what they're buying yet. That's my take. They're not trying to be rude. They're not trying to devalue you. They're not sitting there thinking, let me humble this interior designer today. They just don't know what full service design actually includes. So they default, right? That's the one thing that feels concrete to almost all of us, and that's price. So it's human behavior. It's just it's normal. When people don't know how to evaluate something, they evaluate the only thing that they can compare. Think about it. We do this with everything. They don't know what makes one contractor better than another, so they compare bids. They don't understand legal services, so they ask how much is a lawyer. Okay, they don't understand marketing strategy, so they ask how much do you charge for a website. They don't know how to color hair, so they ask how much for a cut, color, and a highlight. Okay, it's not because they don't value it, it's because they don't know how to measure it. And interior design is one of the, in my opinion, is one of the most misunderstood industries out there because people have no idea what we actually do. They think design is taste, like it's shopping. They think design is, hey, help me pick a rug. They don't see the structure or the process or, oh my gosh, all of the decision making, right? So when somebody asks about price right away, what they're really asking is, can I afford you? Is this even a possibility for me to work with you? Are you in my price range? I mean, seriously, is this going to be a few $1,000s or $100,000? They're just trying to get their bearings. I mean, seriously, they don't know if they're going to walk into a $3,000 conversation or a $300,000 conversation. Okay, well, that's probably a pretty big gap, but they don't know where your fees are going to land, what the project is going to cost. So this is where designers get stuck because we take that question personally. We hear, how much do you charge? And in our brains, in our minds, we translate it into, you're too expensive or you're not worth it. And that's not what's happening. Luna. What's happening is that they haven't been taught what value looks like yet because full service design isn't a product. Okay. It's not like just going to the store and buying a sofa. It's not just a single deliverable, right? You know what I'm talking about. It's a layered service that plays out over time. It's your process, it's your procedures, it's the expertise, it's the leadership. You're leading them through this project and the execution. It's also your design genius, your ability to walk into a space and see problems that they don't even know exist yet. But that's also why price feels like such a hard conversation for designers. Because we're not selling a number, we're selling a transformation. And a transformation, y'all, that's harder to explain if your marketing isn't doing the heavy lifting. So if your marketing doesn't clearly explain your process, your prospective client or your potential client, they're forced to make assumptions. And it's interior design. So when people make assumptions about it, they assume it's mostly aesthetic. So they're asking about price because they're trying to figure out if they should keep talking to you or if they need to move on. And it's not because they don't respect you. Okay, this one might land a little hard. Your marketing teaches people what role you play. Okay, if you do not clearly define it, they're going to fill in the gaps. And when the clients fill in the gaps, they usually assume that you're just there to help them pick things, like a personal shopper. Okay, even our high-end clients, they absolutely care about price. We've worked with clients that have more money than they have sense. Okay, common sense. And they still care about price. They just don't lead with it because they already understand what they're hiring, because they're used to hiring professionals. They understand that that expertise has a cost. They understand that full service means full service, like concierge design, concierge level. They understand that. So if you're constantly getting price first inquiries, it's not a pricing problem. It's a positioning problem. Okay, but after smacking you with that, I'm going to give you some good news because positioning is something that you can fix. So let's talk about why this keeps happening. If you're consistently getting price first inquiries, it's not random, it's not the algorithm, it's not that your website sucks or that clients are suddenly cheap. It's usually because your marketing is unintentionally training people to approach you like they're shopping. This is one of those problems that feels personal until you realize that it's just positioning. So here's the biggest ways that I've seen designers accidentally create price shoppers. First of all, your marketing, it's too vague. If your messaging sounds like, I create beautiful spaces, or I bring your vision to life, I design homes you're going to love, it's not wrong, but it's not doing enough heavy lifting. That's what all designers do, right? Every one of us say that. So the client is like, okay, cool. But what exactly do you do? What does that include? What makes you different? And what am I hiring you for? So if the marketing is vague, then that lead becomes vague. They don't know what to ask. They don't know what they're buying. They don't know what level of service you provide. So what are they going to do? They go to the one question that feels clear. How much is this going to cost? I had that person that I talked to in the third quarter of last year was at my meet and greet, okay, our free virtual meet and greet. And she's like, just don't tell me how you work. Just tell me how much it's going to cost. And y'all, my head nearly spun around. Her husband was listening. She wasn't. So, of course, this made me look at where we were positioning ourselves for ML Interiors Group, okay? Our marketing, it needs to sound like a professional service, not a general creative statement. So the more specific you are, the more qualified your leads become. Thankfully, we were dealing with him and not a lot with her. So that's a whole other story, how we handled that conversation. But let's go. So the first mistake that designers make is that our marketing is too vague. Second one is that we're only showing the result and not the value. This one's huge. Now, your content is mostly finished photos and reveal shots, right? At least that's what we generally like to show off. So the client assumes that our job is the reveal shot. You just picked a few pretty things and you made it look good. It's like some rainbows and fairy dust and poof, it's done. They don't see what you actually do. They don't see the planning. They don't see the layers. They don't see the decision making, the sourcing, the coordination, the budget management, the vendor relationships, the back orders, the pivots, the trade conversations, the timelines, the this won't work because of clearance, or the this is discontinued, or the this needs to be custom. This will blow the budget, or this is going to delay the install by 6 weeks. Oh my God, I'm stressed out just thinking about it. So they don't see the mistakes that you prevent or the stress that you absorb. So if your marketing doesn't show the value, people will assume that the value is purely aesthetic. And when the value looks purely aesthetic, clients will shop it because in their mind, they're not hiring a professional process, they're hiring a look. So yes, show them the pretty, but you also have to show the thinking behind the pretty. I hope that makes sense. Third thing is that your website is a portfolio and not acting as a sales tool. So most designers' websites, they look gorgeous because their work is gorgeous, but they're not selling the services. They're basically just a gallery with a contact form. So that's a problem because your website is supposed to be doing the pre-qualifying work. It should be explaining what you do, what full service means, how your process works, what kind of projects you take, and what it feels like to work with you. Because if your website doesn't answer those questions, that prospect, that potential client is left guessing. And I'm going to sound like a broken record, but when clients are left to guess, they default to price. They start treating you like a product that they can compare instead of a firm that they can hire. Now, that's exactly why inside my Lead Lab Essentials membership, we spend so much time on messaging and positioning. It's not just fluff. It's the difference between attracting serious clients and attracting people who want a number in the first 2 minutes. The messaging and the positioning. So the fourth mistake I see designers making, let's see what number one, the first one was, what was mistake number one? Your marketing, it's too vague. Mistake number two, you're only showing the result and not the value. Mistake number three, your website was a portfolio and not a tool. So number four is that your brand voice sounds too available. This kind of reminds me of dating back in the day, okay? Like you're constantly saying, hey, DM me anytime. I'd love to help. Ask me anything. Let's chat. Reach out whenever, okay? You might think that you're being warm and approachable, and you are, okay? But it can also unintentionally communicate that your business is casual, that your process is flexible, and that you're open for anything, okay? And y'all, this is not a moral issue, okay? It's a positioning issue. Premium clients, they want the warmth, but professionals hire professionals. They want the structure. They want to feel like they're stepping into something well established, that you're in control. They want to know that you have a process. Even if you don't say it out loud, they need to feel that you have this process, that you have boundaries and a professional way of working. So if your marketing sounds like you're always available, you're going to attract clients that treat you like you're always available. And those clients are the ones who will tend to lead with price because they're not entering a structured experience. They're entering a casual conversation. And then this one's big. You don't pre-qualify, so the client qualifies you. I teach my students that when you're going through the sales process, not only is the client interviewing you, but you're interviewing them. So if you don't clearly set the tone of your process, your services, your client experience, and your expectations, then the client is going to be the one who sets the tone for you. Like, you're the boss. This is your business. The way they're going to set the tone is by comparing you to other designers that they're talking to. Okay? They're going to treat you like one of the 5 designers that they found online on the Google. They treat your services like they're interchangeable and your expertise like it's negotiable. And we know that that's not true. Well, it shouldn't be. So instead of coming in saying, here's what we need, and we want someone to lead this, they come in saying, how much do you charge? Because they're just trying to see where you land on the comparison chart. And it's not because they're rude. It's not because they're jerks. It's because you did not lead the conversation before it started. Marketing is not about getting attention. Marketing is about setting expectations before the first interaction. It's about shaping the way people see you and how they approach you. So if you want to stop getting price shoppers, you don't need more leads. Well, you probably do need more leads, but you also need better framing. You need content that teaches people what you do, a website that positions you, an intake process that filters. And if you're sitting here thinking, okay, yes, I get it, but I don't even know what to say or how to structure this without sounding awkward or like a dork or a weirdo, but that's exactly what Lead Lab is built for. Lead Lab Essentials is where you learn the strategy and the structure so you stop winging it and you stop sounding vague online. Lead Lab Plus is for the designers who's like, cool, I want to learn this, but I also want support and implementation help while I'm building this. Because sometimes you don't need more information, you just need traction. Okay, so both of these, the Lead Lab is noted in the show notes. So if this episode's hitting a nerve, go look at it. Essentials Plus, it's like a breath of fresh air. Because the truth is that none of this is about being more salesy. None of this is about being more salesy. It's about being more clear, more concise. Clarity is what's going to attract the quality of your clients. So when you're marketing with clarity, the right clients don't come in straight up asking for a number. They come in asking, what's the next step? And actually, you should be telling them what the next step is before they even ask. That's the shift we're going for. So if you've been sitting there thinking, okay, I see it. I've been accidentally inviting this. Let's talk about what to do instead. This is where everything changes, okay? You don't need a new personality. You don't need to become salesy or bossy. You don't need to start doing cringy marketing trends. You need your marketing to educate your audience because educated audiences will not price shop. Educated audience become clients. They make decisions. So shift number 1, start marketing the problems you solve. If your marketing only highlights the final result, start talking about the problems you prevent and the stress you remove. Talk about what happens when people renovate without a plan and how costly indecision is. Talk about the overwhelm of managing trades and selections. Talk about what you do behind the scenes that makes that final result possible. Like, we know how much work goes into it. You cannot assume the client does. High-level clients are not buying taste, they're buying confidence. They're buying certainty, they're buying leadership. Professionals hire professionals. If I've said that once, I've said it 1,000 times. Professionals hire other professionals. Second thing is to explain your process like they've never hired a designer before. In my experience, most of them haven't. So it's our job to spell it out, tell them what happens first and then what happens next. And what does full service include? What does maybe a modified service include? What does this client experience feel like? What services are provided? What fees are included? So when you explain your process, you're going to remove fear. And when you remove the fear, you're removing the need for people to shop around. I can't tell you how many times we've had clients come to us and they just go through our first meet and greet, like our initial call and then the meet and greet, and they're not even going to call anybody else. Okay. Those that do, fine, absolutely not a problem. But they come back to us and they're like, oh yeah, I understand. Okay. Third shift is to frame your pricing as a strategy conversation and not a menu. Okay. This is not a list of services that someone can compare. You know this. You know that every designer kind of prices a little bit differently. Okay. Or if they're doing hourly, their process is going to be different. You just can't compare. It's like the Wild West out here, right? But your fee is not a number that you hand out. It's tied to scope. It's tied to timeline. It's tied to complexity. The level of execution that you provide. Okay. You can still give a range. You can still communicate if you have minimums, but your goal is to anchor this conversation around your value and your leadership, not hourly rates and line items. Okay, another shift you can make is to put guardrails into your inquiry process. Okay, your inquiry process should filter people before they get access to you. It could be a minimum investment. It could be required project details. It could be that it's a clear statement that you take full service projects only, or what types of clients you work best with. I know designers who have an application form. It's not about being exclusive. It's not about being bougie. It's about protecting your time and protecting the quality of your client experience. I go about it with literally a 15-minute phone call. However you go about it, just make sure that you are filtering the people before they get access to your time. Shift number 5. Shift number 5. Create content that qualifies people before they inquire. Your marketing should answer questions before they even ask them. So, what does that mean? That means you can create content around what full service interior design actually includes, how design fees work and why, what it means to hire a designer for renovation versus decoration, what and how procurement works, why just helping with selections is not the right approach for interior design. It's fine for a consultation. But also how your firm runs projects from start to finish. So when you consistently teach this, your inquiries are going to change because you're no longer attracting people who want to shop. You're attracting people who want a leader, like a Sherpa leading them up the Mount Everest of interior design. Your marketing needs to share that with your client. Again, this is what we do inside Lead Lab. We've got Lead Lab Essentials. We've got Lead Lab Plus. Oh, and by the way, we've got Key Ingredients and Key Ingredients Live if you don't have a process to explain. So if you don't have a process, it's hard to explain it in your marketing. Ask me about the key ingredients. And all of these are going to be linked in the show notes. Okay. The big takeaway here is that your marketing should be doing the educating so that your inbox doesn't have to, or that you don't have to spend an extended amount of time filtering your clients out. So here's I'd say here's the truth. That just sounds so canned, but this is the truth. The leads you're getting are a direct reflection of the message that you're putting out. Your audience is responding exactly how they've been trained. Okay, I've got a new puppy. If you're watching the video, you saw her on the chair. Okay, I can't get mad at her when she tries to, when she tries to chew on my shoe. Okay, I haven't trained her yet not to, that she needs to be chewing on her bone instead. Okay. If she's unclear, then that's on me. If your marketing is unclear, that's on you. You're going to attract confused leads. If your marketing is positioned like a professional firm, you're going to attract people who are already understanding that they're hiring a professional. They're hiring the expert. Okay. It's not about luck. When you have clients that call you looking to be led, that's leadership. Babe, you can just start doing that. You can change this today. So if you're listening to me today thinking, okay, I know I need to fix my marketing, but I don't know what to say, what to post, or how to build this consistently without burning out. Like, I've got a design firm to run. I have a family to take care of. Like, I need my sleep. I need to get some exercise. I need so many days, so much protein. Like, I need to stay hydrated. Like, there's so many things inundating us, right? Oh my gosh. That's exactly why Lead Lab exists, though. Okay. Again, the Essentials is the monthly structure that tells you what to focus on and what to post. So your marketing stops being random. Okay. And it starts building momentum. Lead Lab Plus, it's for the designer who wants more support while they build. Because learning is one thing, but implementing it while you're running a business is a whole different game. So if you're tired of leads who treat you like a price tag, and you're ready to start attracting clients who already understand that you're the expert, go take a look at your marketing. And if you need help with that, go take a look at the Lead Lab. So if this episode hit a nerve, I'm going to say good. That means you're ready for a new level, because you are not running a busy hobby. You're running a freaking business. Businesses do not beg to be understood. Businesses position themselves to be chosen. So thanks for being with me today. And as always, if you want to go deeper and actually put this into action, feel free to reach out. I'll see you guys next week. Hey, y'all. If you love the show and find it useful, I would really appreciate it if you would share with your friends and followers. And if you like what you're hearing, want to put a face with a name, and get even more business advice, then join me in my Facebook group, the Interior Designers Business Launchpad. Yeah, I know, it's Facebook. But just come on in for the training and then leave without scrolling your feed. It's fun. I promise you'll enjoy it. And finally, I hear it's good for business to get ratings on your podcast. So please drop yours on whatever platform you use to listen to this. We're all about community over competition. So let's work on elevating our industry one designer at a time. See you next time.